Hello everyone! So today we're doing an interesting kind of video today, and we're here to find out how much Celeste map can I make in 1 hour. And the rules are pretty simple. So basically I have to create a full Celeste map, obviously, within the LUN map editor. I still don't really know how to pronounce it, but all within one timed hour, which I'm gonna time here. Now, the problem with this is that there are a lot of stuff related to like files such as the dialogue files which you need in order to display the name for the map here, a lot of like metadata you have to solve. So that is the only thing that I've done outside, since I don't really want this video to be sort of based just on, spending the last 10 minutes sorting out the files like that. I want this to be just me genuinely trying to map out, decorate a Celeste map within an entire hour. So yeah, this is all I've done right now, and this is the map. I've sort of sorted out a bit of stuff here. Besides that, pretty much ready. And I'm also saying that I'm not using any custom assets here. Oh, without further ado, we'll start the timer now. Alright, so first of all, we have to open up the level. And I've decided beforehand we're going to use a sort of temple-y aesthetic. Maybe with like some sort of mixed stuff. I have no idea what looks good. I think this looks just fine, honestly. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clear spawn point because I'm pretty sure the game bugs out. This is me in post, and I'll be narrating a few parts of the video. So right after this, I started creating the map, starting off with the background. Now, it's honestly been a while since I've actually inserted a background into a map, but after trying several modded backgrounds, I just decided to come up with the Northern Lights background from the vanilla game, which you see in Chapter 6, and honestly works quite well, even if it took a while for me to make it work. And then afterwards, I started making the gameplay, and it was at this point that I mentally decided to sort of loosely base the map on Dark Moon Ruins, which is sort of a very well received map, which has nice, flowy gameplay with lots of tech, but not usually a lot of sort of entities or objects in the gameplay. So I thought that would be a cool and simple style that I could use into this map. And although I could have just made like a really easy snooze fest beginner map and call it a day and do it in an hour, I wanted to create a sort of fun and flowy sort of style like this. So that's what I ended up doing. Alright, this is our first room. Not bad, honestly, for a first room in time constraints like this. This is not the worst thing I've made so far. So after creating the base gameplay for this introductory first room, what I did was basically structure the room accordingly, and then I added a bit of air deco using some of Farewell's decals, putting out on the ground and using like the large stuff that you can put into the background. And I'm also pretty sure that it was at this point, in this first room, that I realized that it was probably a mistake to create this kind of gameplay, just because, although when executed well, it is really fun and really good, it is really hard to make in a short span of time. It needs to be well made, it needs to be structured well and play tested well, and oftentimes you can cheese it. So that first room is done. Well, mostly I still need to decorate a bit, but then I moved on to the second room. And I seriously realized at this point, again, I realized many things during the process of creation of this map, that I seriously had absolutely no vision for this map. I mean, I just spontaneously decided to do this challenge anyway, so it is kind of my fault. But I seriously had no idea where I was going. And although occasionally it's good to, like, sort of have the, wherever the river takes you sort of mentality when creating a Celeste map, for a challenge like this, it didn't really bode well. Most of these rooms ended up being way shorter than I probably wanted them to be, although they probably could have been longer. I mean, they couldn't have been longer actually, with the amount of time I had. But yeah, the second room, it is a bit messy in the end with this sort of downwards mechanism I created. I'm not even sure if it entirely still works. It for sure doesn't flow properly in the final version, I'll tell you that. But overall, the second room is probably the one I cared the least about, if I'm being honest with you. And you can maybe see it a bit in the actual creation process, maybe. 43 minutes left. Honestly, 43 minutes is not that bad, but an hour is like. If I thought it would be way more than it is, but really, I know it's not a lot of time. It really doesn't feel like it, but it is. Then after the second room, obviously came the third room. And honestly, this third room is probably my favorite room of the entire map. It's actually quite well made. It feels good, even though it's a bit hard. It flows well. It does actually feel like a room from Dark Moon Ruins, just kind of a map that I took inspiration of for the creation of this. And as well as that, because of the nature of the room being long, horizontal, not a lot of stuff in it, it also ended up being quite easy to create as well, with all the deco later on, as well as the actual structuring. Structuring is something that you actually have to care a lot about in Celeste. It's something I think a lot of beginner mappers don't really take into account, especially when it comes to the crystal spinners that I place all the time. But there's some subconscious structuring I always put into those. But overall, yeah, this room's honestly well made, especially like the falling block gimmick with the wave dash right here near towards the end of the room. It's actually pretty cool. And then at this point, I had about 30 minutes left as I was going into room 4, or at least what I thought would be room 4, because I tried to create this room with the gimmick of having the traffic blocks from Farewell, and none of it worked. It never really should have worked from the beginning because working with those takes a bit of time, since, I have to calculate the momentum and everything. But yeah, nothing I did really worked for this room. I tried to make you go fast, tried to work on a few other things. None of it just really works. So I decided to just scrap most of it. But the thing is, in a challenge like this, you can't really, scrap stuff because it's just wasted material. You want to have as much stuff as possible in this 1 hour you have to create the map. So eventually I decided to make hay, and I decided to just make this as the technical final room by making this a sort of short heart room where you get the heart at the very end, as some maps kind of do that, where they have a shorter room where you get the heart at the end. And and with that, I finished off the room, saved it for later, and I started working on room 4, which is the final room that I ended up being able to develop. I originally planned maybe 8 rooms, but that became way too optimistic in the end. So this room 4, yeah, it was an idea dump, really. I didn't really try to maintain any sort of consistency with this map. Before, I was using like these blocks that crumbled when you touch them, and now I use just the regular crumble blocks from vanilla. I was starting to use clouds towards the end, but yeah, I really didn't try to maintain a consistency. As at this point, I really started to realize how much time was left on the clock, and it wasn't much. I really wanted to make this room, this final room, stand out maybe just a bit more, but it ended up just being my like a normal room, maybe like 2 seconds longer than the regular one. But yeah, overall with this entire map, I feel like I maybe should have done a bit more, even though with the time I had, I probably couldn't have. I feel like I really could have done better. Maybe I'd give myself a two out of five in terms of what I could have maybe created. But overall, I'm still proud of it, of what I had. And this final room is probably my second favorite. It's not the best, but it works. It has a few nice gimmicks, and it has a few nice ideas that I managed to put in. There will be a little strawberry here. Only if you watch this video you'll know this. Sure, no one will ever bother going down here. You can collect it like this, I'm sure it's fine. You just can't get it if you're getting a golden, I suppose. So afterwards came probably by far the most chaotic part of the creation process, which is when I had under 10 minutes to go and I had to decorate all of the 5 rooms. Now, the problem was with the decorating is that I actually wasn't done playtesting the second and the fourth room. So I actually didn't know if I had time to do that. And for some reason, I decided to start decorating first. And although it doesn't look that hard, like all I did was pretty much just structure background walls and put decals in the background and everything, I still had to make sure every single part had at least one decal around it or something like that. That's my rule apparently when building. But it was incredibly stressful in this amount of time. I don't know why. Like it genuinely felt stressful. I'm done with the deco. We have 3 minutes left to playtest this. Let's do this, dude. I need to absolutely do what I can. I need to do this just to get up here, dude. Okay, that works. That actually works. Our map works now. All we need to do is maybe add like a few camera triggers. That's the last thing I can really think of doing right now. I hope I can do it. I think this is negative 0.5 because it like goes that way, right? You have 2 minutes to test out whether my muscle... No, the game actually just restarted again. No, I'm actually so stupid, dude. Alright, it does. I know as a matter of fact that this map can be cheesed. So I'm just gonna do this. This is probably the best way of doing it. There. Finishing touches. First couple of rooms. I honestly don't... Oh no, the first couple of rooms don't work. I just remembered. Wait, I just have to do this. That. Okay, let's just cover this. Make this consistent. Make this consistent. I have 42 seconds to check if that room works. I completely forgot to check on the second room because I knew it didn't work. Please, dude. Now it works. Okay, perfect. All we need to do now, add a bit of deco here. Just a bit of deco, please. Just a bit of deco. And then maybe add a watch tower or bino or whatever to every room. Make sure it's sight readable, you know. We got that there. Add, for God's sake, why didn't I add a platform there? Oh! Why did that surprise me? Okay, well, I guess that's it. That's it, dude. That is our map. That is it. 1 hour, and this is what I've managed to create. Yeah, all in all, honestly, a pretty nice experience. It was pretty fun to build the map, and this probably might not be the last time I might be doing one of these challenges. Maybe I'll do one of these again with a different type of map idea, another restriction, or even just a longer or shorter time span that I'm maybe gonna map this out. But yeah, obviously this map will be uploaded on Olympus, Everest, or Game Banana, whichever one it is. I've honestly never actually uploaded a map before, so this will be the first one. And I'm not the most proud of it, but it means a lot to me, this map. And upcoming is obviously a showcase of it, so if you want to stick around for that, you can. And I actually didn't include the strawberry, but you guys know where the strawberry is. And so for the future, I'll probably be planning to release more content a bit like this. And we're actually really close to 1K subscribers. Although I gained a lot of that during a long sort of hiatus. I really thank you guys for all of this. And well, that's all I really have to say. Enjoy the showcase and peace.